So it's race week. You're excited and yet nervous because you're convinced you're going to forget something important or forget to pack something or not be 100% prepared. This video is for you because I'm going to go through 6 top tips that you need to do in the time when you're tapering to make sure that all your training is maximized and you have a great race day experience. My name is Coach Steve or Stephen Moody, and I am an Ironman U certified and award-winning coach from Triathlon Ireland. That's why I know my stuff. But enough about me, let's get you ready. First tip for getting ready in the last few days in the lead up to your races, know your battlefield. In this, I mean that all your training is done, but now you need to get as familiar with the course as possible. You do this by reading the race brief. You do this by looking at the athlete guide. Search and find course videos if someone has done something on YouTube. For example, I did something for Ironman Cork, and people could watch and hear me talk about the nuances of the course. Be prepared. Don't have any nasty surprises on the day. That's a big hill you didn't realize was there. Power tip under point number 1 is actually write off, if it's a long distance race like a 70.3 or an Ironman, write off where the aid stations are and where the hills of note are. Write on a piece of paper, attach it to the stem of your bike so you don't have to remember it. You just look down, an aid station. Okay, it's another 10K. Point number 2 is trial run your kit. You do not want any nasty surprises in race week. You don't want to turn up and find that your brakes are rubbing, or there's a slight buckle in your wheel, or there's a big tear in your wetsuit. Find out any problems early, address them, fix them. Everything's about minimizing stress in the lead up to the actual race. Power tip here is anything electronic, make sure you've charged them or you have access to charge them. Batteries for heart rate monitors, etc. Get it out of the way. You don't want those things dying on the day if you train with them and are reliant on them. Number 3, pack and prepare. And as triathletes do, unpack, repack, unpack. Get a packing list. Get your bike service completed. Make sure you book it in early if it's a popular race, because those local bike stores will be very busy. Make sure you're aware of what you need, and overpack in this instance. It's better to be looking at something than for it. If you're expecting a nice sunny day and it's terrible weather day, bring rain gear just in case. You don't have to use it, but it's nice to have it there. There's a video in the link in the comments below with a downloadable checklist for everyone who is a little bit uncertain about what you need, and it shows you how to pack and how to organize it. Give it more time than you think, because you will need to unpack, and it's just make sure you get it. Might have to go to shops to pick up some nutrition, etc. Give it the time it deserves. Another power tip here, especially for people doing 70.3 and iron distance, get familiar with what goes into the transition bags, the blue bag and the red bag. And when you've packed it, and the night before the race, take a picture of it so you know what's in there, rather than sort of going, did I put my runners in my red bag, or did I put my picture? It's on your phone. You can go, yeah, it's all there. All again, minimizing stress in the lead up to the big kickoff. Point number 4, if you can, get to a race venue early, because it gives you time to adjust if anything's going on. Particularly if, for example, you turn up and you're forgotten your Garmin charger, so you need to go source that from somewhere else, or your bike got damaged in transit and you need to find a local bike store. Better to get there a few days early for the longer distance races. If you're going to be doing a short distance race, make sure you're there a few hours early, that you can sort of go figure out if there's any sort of last minute tweaks, minimizing the stress. There are things that will go wrong, but nothing that you can't fix on the fly if you have a bit of time. When you are on the race venue, walk the course as much as possible in terms of the transition area, the swim entry, the swim exit, mount line, dismount lines. Get familiar with it. So therefore on the day, and when you're pulling out your race strategy, you know what your landmarks are, and therefore there's no real kind of panic moments where you go, well, where do I go now from the swim start? Or when do I need to be at the swim entry, etc. Get prepared in advance. Speaking of race morning, do plan out the logistics of it. There's lots to be done in terms of getting there. What time does your swim wave go in? What time does the transition open at? If you have to register that morning or the day before, what time's that open at? You have been a slave to a schedule and for your training for the last few months. Don't let that slide now. Use the schedule to your advantage. Write it out militaristically. I need to be, it opens at 6, therefore I need to leave the house at 4:30. I'll give myself 10 minutes to find a car parking spot. Give yourself time, give yourself contingency. Your routine is your friend. And lots of these things will take more time than you think. I go, look, yeah, I'm only 5 minutes away from transition. Something's going to happen. You can't find your helmet or la la la. Give yourself time. Wake up early. Give the race the time it deserves. You've done all the training. Don't stress yourself at the very last minute when you don't need to. Now, the very last tip I'm going to go through, and by the way, this is key. If you get this right, to make sure it pull all these things together. I hope this has been useful. If it has, please subscribe as I'm trying to grow the channel and reach out to as many cool athletes and hopeful athletes as yourself. If it's been useful so far, please hit thumbs up, as in that helps me as a channel and it's really appreciated. Point number 6 is have a race strategy document and use as your comfort blanket. What's that? A race strategy document is just essentially a checklist of things you need to do in advance of the race. It's also target times or target zones that you're going to race in, expected times, key things like what time is where the sighting points in the swim course, what food, what's your nutrition strategy. There's lots in it. And it doesn't have to be a big document or whatever. If you just have a little piece of paper and said, look, this is where I need to be at the swim start at this time. If I'm looking, when I'm coming out of the swim exit, I'm looking for that point. That's where I have to keep within heart rate zone 2, zone 3. That means these numbers. It's just something that you can look at and just be comfortable going, I know all this stuff. And even when you're lying down in bed and you can't sleep the night before a race, it's something to go through. Helps you with your visualization, etc. There's your document. And final thing, and a power tip here, is include your race day, your mental game. And this I talk about your race day mantras, powerful statements that will keep you focused on the day, your dedications, who you're going to dedicate this race to, in terms of if you're feeling a crap on the run, where you sort of go, I'm dedicating this to my XYZ, and gives you a bit of a kick up the arse. And also what you call it, visualization, what will the finish line look like, etc. The mental game's important, really do. I have another video in the links below, something I did for Cork, that I go through how you might prepare for this. It is key. Get it right. No point doing all the physical training and then crumpling and when it comes to your brain on race day. That's it. All that has to be said now is absolutely best of luck. All the training's done. Enjoy your taper. Make sure you do put these down, take care of them, and the race day will take care of itself.